This review will contain detailed plot points and spoilers. It is recommended to view this film before listening to this episode. You have been warned.
I want to play a game.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
What have you learned here?
Welcome to MOTN Reviews. This is Masters of the Nerdiverse Reviews, where we take a look at some of cinema's most shiniest supernovas and some that are not so brightly lit. This amusement park of a podcast can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. And with me on this violent voyage is Winter Trash Monk the Thizzard.
What's up, everybody?
And the man himself, the homunculus who could not know death, Brian.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me back. It's awesome.
Of course.
Happy day.
Happy day. Oh, happy day. I'm not going to finish the rest of those lyrics, but you know them. You know them. You may not. If you're checking into this podcast, you would see that we're doing another Dark Coast Pictures joint, which we're very thankful for getting this early review copy of this, I would say, very interesting animation that they've brought to the MOTN doorstep. And that is, of course, Violent Voyage. Violent Voyage, guys.
Man.
How violent was this voyage?
Don't, like your parents told you, don't talk to strangers. Bro. Like, seriously. Like, a stranger comes up and you're like, oh, hey, stranger. Next thing you know, bad shit everywhere.
So, this movie is directed by Ujicha. This is kind of a one-name director, kind of like Cher or
Hopefully
Rogue.
you pronounced it right.
I'm hoping I do. If I didn't pronounce it right, my deep apologies. I'm kind of a weeaboo, as it were. So some Japanese names I'm pretty good at, but this one's a bit tricky. So hopefully I pronounce it okay. Werner had some interesting facts on this director about some other films that he directed.
Oh.
Yeah, well, there's one that I just saw float across my screen called The Burning Buddha Man, 2013, and also the full. Yeah, this doesn't look like it's the same type of cutout. I could be mistaken, but Full Japan, the ABC. No, that's not direct to film. So it's just Burning Buddha Man is the one that I can confirm that has the same cutout from this director. And I have to say, just like a spoiler sort of thing, like be prepared for child death when you're watching this film.
Well, folks. if we're just going to pull the Band-Aid off, yeah. Firstly, I want to talk about the art style, animation style, which at first was a bit jarring, I have to say, because I was not prepared for this art style. And it's something I know I've seen before. Maybe like an early 70s kind of children's animation.
Like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah, 100%.
Like the like theme, like my eyes recognized it as well, and I was looking forward to speaking with you about this because you know art much better than I do, and it like what they used to film this is absolutely incredible. And if you're looking for something like original, like completely original thought, this is it, because the use of the cardboard puppet cutout, I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Things was incredible.
Yeah, so they're definitely paper cutouts that
they are paper cutouts.
Yes. Okay. And I had to confirm that because I thought it was in the beginning it was going to be like computer animation to look like
Right.
paper cutouts, but actually it is
hand drawn almost.
Yeah, like you
right?
can look at footage of it looks like the director painting the
Oh wow.
the people, and it's very interesting because there's a couple of inspirations. Like if we can take it back, if we're talking about art, I see a lot of like the art style of Reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
Of like when they're reading the story, it just it's taking some homage or something like that from
that era.
Like children's art.
Remember those books, those children's books with the gold gilding on the side?
Oh, absolutely.
And they're kind of like the same color style and the same line art, and the line weight is very similar. So when I saw this, I was just like, oh, okay, this is how we're going to do this. Right. And at first I was kind of underwhelmed. I was like, okay, this is not your typical Japanese animation. But then it started becoming more complex as the animated film produced. You're like, oh, that's tricky. I know that was tricky to film. Like, I know for a fact, you know?
I think it's interesting because to the layman, I was, from the word go, I was like, how many hours did this take? Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Just looking at how detailed it was. Do we have any idea, Winter, about how long this whole thing took?
I couldn't find anything about how long it took, but I'm trying to find something that we could compare it with.
Yeah, and I would think it would be as long as like something like Coraline. You know, those stop motion animation masterpieces they've been putting out lately.
Oh,
you know, like Paranorman and things like The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a different art. It's a different medium, but you would think that the hours would have to be put in to create this world that they've designed for us. And
there was some stop motion used, wasn't there?
Very little, maybe like for some of the action scenes.
Some of the action scenes, I thought, that's what I was thinking.
The action, I thought it was like they were just filming, and then they had someone with a stick, maybe holding the paper person.
Yeah.
Charging it. Like, I believe that they've done that a few times. They did that with like hands, or like when the kid is giving an apple to a cat to eat, because I guess cats eat apples.
Bite into apples.
Yes.
It's out of control, man. It's so crazy. So with this story, like I said, this particular animation takes one of the hardest left turns we've ever done on this channel so far, in just regards to storyline and expectation.
Yeah.
This really, it was just like the end of Grease, you know, it's been all kind of normal and fine, but yeah, we're in a car that's just going to fly to the moon, you know, just that's the ending, you know?
Just try to give a connection, because there is, I think, a similar American show that kind of uses paper cutouts, that they use stop motion animation so there's a lot more intensive labor to it, I would say. But South Park episode 1 took what was it, 3.5 months to complete the first episode they ever made.
Ooh, hand drawn, dude.
All right, 30 minutes, gotcha.
So you can do the math.
It's an impressive work of art from a film direction point of view, and I can't imagine like this being in your head trying to shoot it. You know what I mean? And lay it out. Like it was very well done.
Or like even imagine like it's a good the director is also the screenwriter of the film. Imagine if it was like not that way, where it's like the screenplay was written and then the director comes in going, I have no clue how to do this. Here we go.
Absolutely. Okay, let's figure it out, you know? So this story kind of revolves around a child character named Bobby, who's he's an American boy who's been kind of transplanted to modern day Japan. At least I would think modern day Japan, right?
Yeah.
And
that's what I was assuming.
Yeah, you didn't see anything. It had a bit of timelessness to it. Like there was no cell phones, or I don't even think there was like vehicles or anything like that. They were just Bobby, his interesting father, which don't want to talk a lot about, and his mother just living in the mountains of Japan, like going to school and being a normal kid. But then you see weird things like glimpses of giant gashes on his hand, like early in the film. Like, what is that about? Like is that a technical glitch? Like, no, okay, it ties into the story later. But I just want to talk about a couple of characters before we just deep dive into the plot. And I did want to talk about Bobby and kind of his story arc, kind of where he started and where he went, and kind of right about when this animated film took a hard left turn.
like they started out as, I don't know what, 8-year-old kids, and Bobby came out like a grown-ass man.
Bobby.
like he's like, oh man, I'm 40. Like, is the 401k not ready?
Yeah, Bobby's seen some stuff, dude. Bobby's ready.
Seriously.
1,000-yard stare, dude.
His tenacity is kind of, I started towards the end of the film, I was like, dude, this dude just keeps coming at you, man. Like, he just keeps getting up. So I liked where they took it, and I liked the growth that happened in the course of, it was about a week story time.
Even like a couple of days, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt like it was I think it was a couple of days.
Maybe like 2-3 days, because no spoilers yet, but he goes and he actually, quote unquote, escapes, and then there has to be time in between that. So I would think maybe like 3-4 days. Max.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so it could actually be a week, because there's the whole training montage.
Yeah, and I think the guy specifically says it's been 6 days. So
okay.
I think you're right, Brian. Actually, there you go. Yeah.
I thought that they did a great job writing his growth.
Yeah.
So that it was impactful.
Absolutely. And by the end of it, everyone's kind of adjusted and changed, some dramatically, some not so dramatically. And it leaves you with a sense of, I can't wait to talk about the last scene of this movie, because it just made me laugh for like 10 minutes. You can just see the growth in Bobby and kind of where he came from, especially with his family life, because they show early on that his dad seems a bit stern and kind of unfeeling. Maybe his dad's like a dock worker or something like that, because he doesn't look like your typical businessman or anything. He's wearing like a beanie and like a bubble jacket. He's just like, I'm going to work. Don't piss your mom off.
Yeah.
Bye. He's like, whoa, dad's intense. And then you have the kind of sick mother trope, just in bed, kind of, where are you going? I'm going to go do kid stuff. And mom is like, no. He should have listened to his mom, if you want to be honest, but
Well, yeah, we should all listen to our moms. That's kind of the point.
Hashtag listen to your mom, dude. You won't be, your life won't make drastic changes like Bobby's did.
Correct.
But with Bobby is also his friend, Akun. Is that his friend? Is that the name of his friend? With the weirdest head I've seen in a animation in a little bit of a while. That super threw me off at first. I was like, why does his head look like that?
Yeah. Why did he look like Machamp? I don't understand.
I thought he looked like a Klingon, dude. He looked like a little Klingon. And then you see his little brother, who looks exactly the same.
Right. I thought that was definitely going to come into the storyline later on.
They never address it, dude. It's the weirdest. It's super weird. I love it. I was just like, okay. And it's just not even played for laughs. It's just there. Like, okay. He has an 1,000 head. You know how some people have 4 heads? You got a 5 head.
Right.
Akun had like a 7,000 head. It's too funny.
So, a question that we can raise, and I can't remember the proper term, but it's like it's like a script writing thing. It's something gun, where you put into the story that there's a gun on the shelf, but you never address it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember the actual technical term, but it's if you show a rifle on the wall, by the end of the story, that rifle has to be used.
Yes.
If you show it on the wall and it's not used, then cut it out of your story.
Now, Violet's Voyager, I feel like, has several rifles on the wall that is never addressed.
Okay, we could do that. Yeah. What's one that comes to mind, Winner?
Well, the ridges on the head.
Ridges on the head's a big one.
Yeah.
No freaking idea.
in a reversed sort of thing, I don't recall them ever mentioning the scars on their hand until they become part of the story. But you see it in the beginning on their hands.
Yeah, they mention it very late in the story.
Right. Which is interesting. There's also talking more about the doctor's assistants lady. I don't think now I'm going all over the place with the
that was his daughter, but
yeah. Okay, there we go. I missed
she
that
quote unquote
part.
Sacrificed her youth for the mission, whatever mission that was, because even that was gray area by the end of the movie, like exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. But we'll definitely get there, and that's a good place to kind of kick off this plot, which is the kids originally want to go to the mountains because they wanted to just XYZ play, and Bobby wanted to go pick flowers for his ailing mother, and they go find this shed with one of the funniest scenes I've seen in a while. It's so Japanese. Is where Bobby's like, I gotta go use the bathroom. I'm going to explode. He's like, yeah, there's a shed over there, bro. So Bobby goes to check out the shed, and he's like taking a crap, and you start seeing like xenomorph slime chop on his head, and he looks up. It's a ICU crap monkey hanging upside down in the stall watching him crap.
Just staring at him.
And Bobby just bolts out. What the fuck? That's when I knew this was going to go hard left. I was like, what is this? This is literally the Stan from JoJo, that the pig that lives in the toilet and eats your crap, dude. It's the same thing. And
yeah, I was not expecting that.
that kind of jacked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
And the old man, he's kind of like the harbinger. They run into an old man who has a big part to play later. But he's like, yeah, don't go, just stay around here, And they're like, no, we're children. And they children off, And they find the sign to Violence Voyager. Voyager. And then they come across this...
Look.
Yeah.
Look. Yeah. They find a sign that says Violence Voyager.
Yep.
And Akun's like, yo, man, let's go see our buddy. And this foreign kid, of course, the American, he's like, no, let's go see what this cool sign that says Violence Voyager on is all about. And I just want to put out there, along with talking to strangers, if you see a sign that says violence this way, skip it.
Dude,
just skip it, man. Skip it.
But that's the classic horror trope is, hey, we're on this road that will for sure take us to Biloxi. Let's take this back road. It's faster. Why would you do this in a storm? When you're driving pitch black, you're going to take this side road that has monsters on it. It just screams monsters. So, and plus, they're like, how old would you say these kids are? 8, 10?
Yeah, I put them at like 8, but the age range between the themes that we were seeing and how their growth,
right.
Like they're drawn at 8, but I think like 12, 13 years old is like their mentality, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they're very smart kids, to be honest, and they're very well spoken. But I think that's more of the writer than them writing for children, like especially Bobby. Bobby was just kind of a little brilliance, other than his bonehead idea to go check out Violence Voyager.
Ding, ding, ding. Anyway, go to Violence Voyager. So hey guys, let's go to Violence Voyager.
Let's go to Violence Voyager. We're only 8 years old.
It's cool.
Maybe we can bring back our parents and we can all go. No, let's just go now. Let's check it out. Remember Freaked? Oh, Freak Show. Let's check it out. So they come across this what I call a nope bridge, which is just this giant metal, almost looking like something out of Age of Ultron bridge, over a careening river. And Akun is like, yeah, this is the second nope I've seen so far. Can we just go back? For real? And of course, damn it, Bobby's all like, no, man, just cross it, dude. Stop being lame. Let's just cross it. Just do it.
Yay, Americans.
Oh, I forgot to mention his cat that's in his backpack that's just freaking out the whole time.
Derek the cat.
Derek is the best, dude. Derek is so
Love
stupid. I love it. Because Derek, he'll make a cat scream face and no sound happens. What the hell?
I wish my cat was watching this with me. It would have been fun.
Derek's a writer, dog. Derek is one of my top 5 cats in film now. He's up there with General.
I'd be willing to do that, absolutely. But
top 10 cats in film. Derek is on the list now. He's up there with Jonesy from Alien, General from Cat's Eye. You know what I'm saying?
What about Snowball from Stuart Little?
Snowball is a beast.
Nathan Lane. Okay.
Nathan Lane. He makes the list. So live action cats, even though Derek is not live action, but he makes the list. I don't care. Derek is baller. So they get to the Voyager kind of theme park entrance, and they see a cage with a dog that's just chilling there. And damn, evil Rottweilers. Are Rottweilers normal in Japan?
Man, I'm assuming so.
But I think Rottweiler is kind of like the ipso facto, quote unquote, scary dog. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think that's just Japan, and I don't want people tweeting at me. I'm not saying anything bad about Rottweilers.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say quote unquote.
Rottweilers are the friendliest dogs
ever.
Please don't tweet it.
My Rottweiler.
It's fine.
It makes me cookies. I'm not saying. I met some beautiful, cute Rottweilers, but I'm saying film-wise,
my best friend's a Rottweiler.
My best friend's a Rottweiler. But I'm just saying, it's Doberman Pinschers and it's Rottweilers, right? That's usually the dogs the intimidating dog.
You're just in the Swedes here. People are going to tweet you.
I know. Rottweilers are beautiful. Anywho,
you hate dogs.
Now pit bulls.
I'm not going to say anything bad about pit bulls ever, dog. Ever. Anywho. They see this dog, and then the cat goes nuts in his backpack because it's, cat dog.
Yeah, can you reenact the cat noise?
It goes and his mouth it's a still of the cat's mouth open, and the cardboard is just shaking real fast.
Yeah.
This feels like this is awesome. And they meet the most nope character I've seen in an animation since like the scientist in Full Metal Alchemist who melded his daughter and his dog together. This is the most nope human. He's just like, yes, I built it myself.
Yeah.
I have a receding hairline and my shirt's neat. And they're like, okay, that's fine.
Now pretend to be the character. You were talking about yourself, but let's talk.
Oh man, I don't have a receding hairline. Knock on wood. But the kids are like, can we check out your stuff? And it's like, all right, it's 200 yen per person, so that roughly boils down to like $2 entry.
Let's look that up.
Yep, do the math.
Don't talk to strangers, kids.
So they're talking to this ultra stranger, the most stranger danger character ever, and
from the word go too,
like from the jump, dude.
You know what I mean? Forget about the violence part of this conversation. Let's just say it was like Voyage. And then, like, you saw this dude, you'd be like, nah, man, I'm good.
He's the third nope. The fourth and final nope is when they say, oh, we don't have any money, man. We'll just go hang out with our buddy. You know what? It's free. Just come with me. It's free, dude, okay? And that would have been my infinite nope. Like, no, wait, what?
We're good.
We're good. It's time to go home. But no, these idiots come with him, and they go inside his little kind of kiosk area, where he shows them the videotape of like what the Violent Voyage is about, and it's this hardcore, almost like real life military video of how the Earth was ravaged by these aliens, and it's like, and this is what happens to human bodies when their corrosive hand juice splits on them, right. And it's a dude that's literally eviscerated with like a bad TV blur on it. It's like, what the fuck?
What am I looking at right now?
Why is this for children? He's like, put on your park tarps. He gives them these park tarps that I think actually increase the meltage when they get hit. Like, it helps you melt faster. So he gives them the park tarps, and he gives them water guns. Hey, man. Water guns, room full of water guns. I was like, that's epic. Right. I'd love that. That'd be epic. They had the Matrix room full of water guns, which for a kid would be cool. Would be absolutely cool. Which is kind of made me think, okay, this is more of like a kid's horror, maybe. But no. No. So the assistant slash sister daughter,
pardon me. Yes,
daughter, kind of briefs them and says, "Okay, this is where you gotta go." So they set them on their kind of voyage, and they're kind of going and shooting like little pop up, like wooden
Robot
kind of stands.
men.
Yeah, robot dudes, and they're having a good time. And they just see a girl passed out in like wearing a girl tarp, like in the forest, and they're like, "Who's that?" And they kind of wake her up, and she just darts in front of them. And is like, "What year is this?"
Dude, she was like, "What is going on, man? I'm not having any of this. What is going
on?" And they're like, "Yeah, get her some water or something." She's like, "Yeah, I've been out here for like 3 days." I'm like, what? Like, wait, what's going on? Like, I'm here with my boyfriend, and I don't know where he is. He sacrificed himself to save me. Like, save you from what, man? She's like, I don't know. I got knocked out. And so he's like, all right, we're just gonna get out of here together. And like in perfect Evil Dead fashion, they go back to the place where the bridge is, and the bridge is just gone. You know?
Now I couldn't figure out who's controlling where the bridges leave or not.
I'm probably the dude. It has to be the scientist mastermind guy, right? Because it wasn't even like a bridge wasn't even there. It wasn't even like, okay, this mechanical mechanism went back into the mountain. It was like the whole bridge got lifted up. And then we have this nutty fight between the dog and the kids and the cat, which is the craziest
By
thing.
the way, it sounded like a JRPG style music in the background.
I heard the battle music from Final Fantasy going on. Everybody has to take their turns. And the dog looked sweet at first. It kind of it was like had his face. It looked like a sweet dog. And it was like, uh-oh, dog no sweet. And the dog literally just jumped on our main character, Bobber, and literally just saw blood splat. You're like, oh, snipes. This is getting real, dude.
Not going well. Not going well at all.
So, of course, his cat is a G and starts fighting the dog. But then you're like, okay, and he's like doing it. He does this is one scene where the cat's doing scratches, and it goes to red, and the cat's doing like an ultra combo finish, and the dog's face is just shaking. He sees little scratch marks. I was like, yo, this is hype. But
ultra combo.
And then it turns into something out of Monster Hunter because the dog literally just bites into the jugular of the cat. You see blood splatter on Bobby. Like this is getting weird. Like I started getting like uncomfortable. Like,
this is getting weird, man. Like at this stage, I'm like, whoa, we are not in Kansas anymore. What is this?
What's actually happening? So the dog throws the cat off the cliff, and the cat's holding on for dear life, and the cat falls to its apparent death.
Derek.
And once the cat falls to his death, I'm trying to remember exactly what happens next at that point. Can you fill me in, Brian? What exactly happens after they encounter that dog? Because I know that Bobby and Akun and the girl, I believe, are trying to escape.
Yes, they go to try to escape, and then they wind up cruising into the, doorway.
Oh yeah,
whatever that was.
That spooky doorway.
And so they go into the doorway, and they run into the.
They run into the
two robots who grab the girl, and take her away. And so at this point, like they're like, whatever her name was, screaming for her, and she's gone away. And you're like, man, where'd she go? And why are these robots real all of a sudden?
Yeah, it's super real.
What is going on in this? Like, water guns aren't going to cut it at this stage.
Right.
Dude. Once they escape that dog, actually, they are apprehended by these, what apparently seems to be additional robots. But these are weird robots because they're wearing the same, I would say, Violence Voyager tarps that they're wearing. They have the robot heads, but they have the weird tarps. So they go into this cave, and they're kind of held hostage by water guns. And Akun makes the observation, like, yeah, our hands are up, but they're just holding water guns too. And he's like, oh, just cooperate. And then the robots take off their helmets to reveal they're actually children as well. And we get this like little pod, like resistance team
Right.
of kids
That quickly gets like.
Fuck, dude.
Well. Also, one of them goes, "Well, how long have you been here?" And she's like, 4 days.
Oh yeah.
You're like, what?
What?
At this point, I'm like, where are the cops, man? Like,
Where are the parents?
you got stranger danger up here, like children missing for days, and they go into a story about how they tried to tell the cops, but they were like, yeah, whatever, kids,
whatever, children, go play.
Mm-hmm.
The parents don't understand trope, and they're like, yeah, so and so here knows the most, and they pull this kid out the cut, and it's literally a bloody, naked child with like half of his head transformed into something,
Right.
and half not. He's like, they ripped out his vocal cords. I was like, no, I can't look at this. What is happening? Oh my goodness, it just got so weird so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, he's been here the longest. This little kid. Oh man. And they start planning like an escape plan. Like, okay, we can go through here. We can figure out this way. We go to the heart of the park. There should be a way out from there. And it's kind of like this little girl who's kind of playing the ringleader, so to speak.
Right.
Like, and the boys are down with it because, like, no, we still got to find our friend who got apprehended just earlier in that scene. And they're like, okay, chances are she's going to be there too, so let's head that way. And then what I see appears to be a legit alien just pops out and just starts ripping through these kids.
Right.
They don't even get a chance to get the plan to go off, man.
This
They're
one
like, make plans and then nothing happens. It's like,
Right.
all the plans you want, you are not in a fun place right now.
a lot of that happens in this film. It's like the best laid plans, right? All the plans fail.
Pointless.
Well, that's why, like continuing off of that, it's just the film continually makes you go like, okay, I kind of know where the film's going now. First, it's like, okay, it's gonna be kids going through a theme park, and that's it. Like, no, actually, things progress.
Things
then it
progress.
goes, okay, now these kids are gonna form a band of like misfits, and they're gonna escape the Avenger. Like, no, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work out either.
Yeah,
it's good at
Just
plan C, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the continually providing like outlet to like, okay, now I know what this movie's about, and then like, nope.
And at this point, as these kids get shredded, this would be a good point to point out. Like, this is a good gore film for Halloween, if you know what I mean. Like, they do a good job with the gore, and you're like, man, these little kids. I mean, I probably shouldn't be watching this, but I'm watching this.
Yeah, it was one of those where child endangerment in films in general is always amazingly jarring. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. From the dairy kid in It, you know what I mean? Whenever there's child endangerment, it always says like all bets are off, right? Like, oh geez, they never do that. So
this is kind of heavy.
So see these kids literally like disemboweled and ripped through and acid melted. It's just like, whoa, this thing is going places out of control. So you think that the kids are going to escape because the little alien dude actually gets a hold of his buddy, a coon. And Bobber, because I'm just going to say it like that for the rest of the review, Bobber takes like a cinder block or something and just knocks it over his head. He takes another helmet and hits it on his helmet. And that frees up Akun to escape. But now Bobby's in peril. And Akun's like, nah, man, that's my buddy, man. I can't leave him. It was almost like an aliens moment. You know what I mean? Like we gotta get out of here, man.
And meanwhile, the girl's looking at them both like, you guys are both morons.
You guys are stupid. Let's go.
And like, let's go. And so another point Winter's talking about, you're like, oh, well, obviously they're going to get out of this and go on their way. And then Akum,
nope. Akum does
get out of it, man.
He doesn't get out of it, dude. I wasn't expecting my mouth to be a gasp during this children's kind of adventure, Goonies kind of story. But when Akun did the suicide diving, got hit with the acid, I was literally aghast. I was just like, they really just, and he just turns him around, and he's just, he's done. Yeah, he's fatality.
If you think about it, they gave more of a fight between the dog and the cat than they did between the fight happening here, where it's like one kid after the other, bam, 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 bam. But the cat's like, wah, leaping into the air, doing kung fu moves or whatever.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that cat is a G, dog. So Akun is finished, man, and Bobby kind of is just like crying over his friend, and the girl is like, you know what, this is you guys' fate. No one told you to jump down there and fight this thing. We're heading off. So the girl and the naked have whatever it is boy. They escape. They progress with the storyline.
Do we ever figure out where they ended up?
Yeah, at the very end.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So Bobby is then incapacitated by the little alien dude, and then he's dragged to a room where it's almost like in a trough, like one of those, one of those things for construction where you just fill dirt in it and you kind of push it, and it has like a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And there's just a bunch of kid bodies in it, and the little aliens pushing it, and then of course the instructor, the park's commander, comes out, and I was just like Brian said, it's like, I guess I punched my ticket. I'm on this ride.
Right.
I guess I got to see this through. And it's like, I was looking away at the camera like, this is too much, man.
Yeah.
It's like something out of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't. Yeah.
You're in the den of hell. Like there's no escaping the situation.
No, there isn't, because it's part of the story, and we go on. So also at this stage, like, we have to remember that the dad has now come home.
Yes.
Like, dude, where's the kid? The wife, his mother's like, oh, well, Bobby's gone missing.
Bobber.
Found him. And he's like, yeah, I guess, man. Like, fine. So he goes out to go find him, finds Akun's little brother, takes off on their grand adventure.
Yeah, I forgot about the side story that's going on. Yeah.
The side story, another winter special where you're like, oh, okay, this is how this is going to go.
Right.
Wrong, as Charlie Murphy would say, wrong. That's not how that. So there, like you said, the father, who just seems like a very unfeeling father, at first, but then he kind of picks up Akun's little brother, who kind of bribes him into taking him along. They run into the
kind of bribes him. He's got to pay the dude money.
He pays him money, dude.
That's a bribe.
That's a bribe. There's no kind to it, huh? Jeez.
Right.
Now, I wonder if this is like a trope that the kids like personifying. I wonder if this is like the director's nodding. I would love, so the director hears this, or if the studio hears this, I would like to know what's the inspiration for this kid, because it's very
holding up the dad. He's like, dude, I'm telling you until you give me some money. I know you're rich. You're an American, bro.
Yeah.
right. Where's the money?
And I want to say I've seen this before, like in 1940s, 50s films, like in Gumshoe, kind of, like LA Noir kind of era where the kids are real street savvy. Like, oh, you want information? Give me $1. He's like, okay. You want more information? Give me $5. And the guy's like, oh, you shaking me down, kid? And that kind of reminded me of that, the kid with the weird head. So the kid and his dad go on the adventure. Luckily, the kid is left behind once the dad kind of speaks with Old Man and Monkey, and kind of gets more information from them. I hate that monkey's so weird. It's so awesome. Yeah. So he has to climb a sheer mountain to get to where he needs to go. It's like, yeah, kid, you can't come up, you can't climb this, So it's just gonna be me. So the dad kind of makes his way to the installation, actually.
While we find out that the doctor is feeding his son, and for those comic people out there, Mike, I just want to ask you, what's the name of the Spider-Man villain, Shark, what's his face in the comics? Sharkman. Is it Sharkman? Avengers or either one. Either way. He looked like Taquito's design. He kind of looked like a little like that shark character. He kind of
had like a king shark. There is in
King
Suicide
Shark. There you go.
In Suicide Squad, there's a villain named King Shark who just a giant man shark. You know what I'm saying? And
we find out that the dad is feeding this little man shark, children's pigeon blood.
It said
that is a good question.
It said, okay, first of all, okay, let's back it up a bit. Oh my goodness, this is so crazy. So he opens up Taquito's backpack. He's like, "Oh man, you're almost low." Like, what does that mean? Then he goes to this giant, like I don't even know what to call it. It's like this giant pigeon god that he keeps in his house.
It's a naked bird, skinned god.
It's a skinned naked bird god that are like, yeah, man. And then he pulls out like it's robotic, like I don't even know what it's supposed to be, dude. Is it supposed to be like its boob? It's like
it kind of looked like a fin.
And he pulls it out and he like shoves it down Taquito's throat and is feeding him like pigeon juice is what it's called.
That's what it's called, right? Pigeon juice?
Yeah. And he
it's
fills him
coming
up.
from the children, right?
I think it's two things that are going on. Like, there's a conversion period where he's taking these children, he's putting them in this weird kind of like indoctrination bath where they start to slowly become like Taquito. But he also liquefies some of them as food for Taquito, right?
Correct. Through the pigeon bird, though.
Through that pigeon god who I think is... Yeah.
So I don't know if the children get liquefied for the pigeon god, and then the pigeon god feeds Taquito, or if the liquefied children are actually feeding Taquito. I suppose not Taquito.
The pigeon god.
Taquitos.
I want some Taquitos.
Sorry about that. And feeding him. So yeah.
Because there's not a lot of Taquitos running around. It's just him. So it makes me think that there has to be a conversion period for the pigeon god to eat these children. They can't just eat raw children. This is such a horrible sentence. They have to then be converted like Taquito so that the pigeon god can eat the converted child. And then its byproduct feeds Taquito. Right?
We're getting so many nice mic sound clips, everybody.
You guys can hum or something. You don't have to isolate me so hard. But that's kind of what's going on. Yeah. And Taquito's powered up. He's like, "Yeah, go go to sleep in your room."
Yeah.
But then he scolds Taquito because he accidentally kills one of the kids. He's like, "You can't kill the kids, man. Like, right. They need to go through the so we could feed you. It has to go through like this transition period, and feed this weird contra boss that we have in here." So while all this is going on, Bobby is somehow awake. He kind of snaps out of whatever he's in. Mm-hmm. And he's like, man, he shakes himself down. I don't know how he did that. But he kind of looks around. He's like, hey, kids, you guys want to wake up? You're naked. I'm naked. This is weird. So he grabs a tarp, covers himself up, and he starts walking around the complex. And he's then kind of apprehended by a Taquito-like, right? Who's just kept in a room somewhere. And we come to find out that Taquito-like is the boyfriend of the girl that was kidnapped earlier in the film. And he's kind of still has his faculties about him. He still has like a human hand, and he's just like, yeah, ain't nothing sweet out here, man.
No, bro, it's been rough.
I'm living this rough life for a minute, man. Ugh.
3 days, 4 days.
It's fast, man. You transform like in 10, like in an hour. It takes like an hour. You're already done. You're beyond repair. You're beyond repair, dog. So he's like, yeah, man, I'm kind of finished, but I really want to save my girlfriend, and you're really the only person that can help me because I'm weak and my body is just garbage now. So this is and this is another winter moment where it's like, this is the plan, right? You're going to go into Taquito's room where she's in. You're going to grab her. Don't wake Taquito, dude. And we're going to use this aqueduct here and escape. And what happens, Winter, at that point?
Well, what happens is their buddy that was going dies, and and yeah, and I guess what was the kid's name again? Mr. T, Kid T,
Bobber.
Yeah, the one the professor, the doctor's son,
Taquito.
Yeah, Taquito. He does like a spinning Bobby around, and it's like, okay,
what is happening, dude?
Yeah.
Dude, Bobby's eyes got crossed
X'd out,
bro. They were X'd out. It was like
he got Pokemon, dog.
he was done. I was like, is this the end of the film? Did the bad guys win?
Bad guys win, dog. So I was like, what? I was like, I don't know what to do with this movie. I was like, all right, what happens now? Like, because the boyfriend kind of pokes his head into like the doorway, and he just drops. You see blood spilling everywhere, and the dad walks up, and then Taquito wakes up, and he does like a rock bottom on Bobber.
Yeah,
and they're like, and then Bobby kind of goes to sleep and sees red, and it goes back to the dad at that point, right?
Yeah, the dad. I believe that's when the dad makes it to the
pigeon god room, right?
Yeah.
And he finds like, he was like, what is this?
Yeah,
Dude, he starts like pulling children out like they're fish or something.
Yeah,
right?
he starts hooking them out like the claw and the claw game, and he's flipping them on their backs, and he's like, blonde hair, and then we come to the grim realization.
Well, that's his son.
That's his son. That's Bobby. And Bobby's like, it hurts. Bobby, you were like, oh no, this is our hero, dude. Oh man, it's such a bad end. It was like, this is the end. This is how this ends. I was like, this. I mean, and I reminded myself, this is not American culture storytelling. The hero doesn't always win. I was like, this is Japanese culture where they're bad. They're like sad ending happy, dude. Like they will just do it. Not everything turns out the way you want it to. And I was like, oh no, man. And the dad kind of confronts the doctor and what is it, Taquito?
I don't want to try anymore, man. I don't want.
We're gonna call him Mr. T. We're gonna call him Mr. T.
Yeah,
Lil
T.
Lil T. So I was thinking like, all right, the dad's just gonna beat the crap out of this weird balding kind of like slurpy dude. But then I forget Mr. T, or Lil T rather, apparently has the strength of a gargantuan. Because he just jumps from the rafters and just literally bites the ventricle of the dad or something.
Just keeps coming at you, man. Just keeps coming at you.
They gotta have super strength or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's a shark machine thing. Pigeon blood, bro. It is on a different level.
Okay. I have to ask a weird question. If you were promised super strength and reflexes, would you drink that pigeon juice, Doug?
I don't know if I could see how it's made.
Well, it's like Slurm, dude.
Yeah, man.
If I just slammed a cup of that pigeon juice, which is not even animated, it's just literally liquid. They literally just somehow put liquid in the shot, and it's this creamy, viscous kind of slur, like slime. Would you just chug it and have temporary super strength, Doug? Would you do it?
Yeah, why not? It's pigeon juice. You got to. Winter,
you down to drink pigeon juice with us? No. We're taking pigeon juice shots later, dude. You down?
No.
So Bobber's dad picks up Bobber, and they're escaping, and they literally open a door, and it's just like a cavern. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like it's a pit of hell. And he's like, and then what does the dad do? He just sacrifices Bobby. He's like, this is my son now.
No, he says living. he gives him another chance. It's something about he said something about live again, or like
I thought he said something like, "So this is how this ends," or something like that, and he just
think
throws
that-
him off, Tekken style.
Yeah, he said that this is how this is. He said something like that, but then he throws him down, going, "Give them another chance." Or I don't know what his logic behind that is, but he's like, he was definitely trying to rescue his son that way.
Oh, okay. I misinterpreted that. I thought he just sacrificed his son. Like, well, if this is how we're gonna die, then all right, here you go, and I'll try to fight these dudes off as much as I can.
Like I think he purposely threw him in the river.
No, he landed like on hard rock though.
Well,
Dude.
he's a bad aim.
Well, it's hard to aim when you're like squirting arterial blood from your neck. So
and so here you go. You have the dad versus little T versus the doctor, and you're like, all right, the dad's gonna win. I mean, no, man. A couple of seconds later, you see the dad down in the ravine as well.
Super dead. Like this. How is this going to end? In my brain, my brain was just spinning. Like, how can they clean this up? How is this going to end? We're in the house of misfit toys now. We're all mutants. We're all soldiers now. You know what I mean? So it's like, how is this possibly going to end? So Bobber wakes up and sees his super dead dad, and he's kind of still weak. His body's all jacked up, but then he sees the boyfriend literally just split in half, Bishop style from Aliens. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And he's just like, "Yeah, I'm not doing so hot, man." It's been a rough couple of days, but he's like, "You have to find my girlfriend. You have to survive. Move that body over there. There's like this weird little duct you can take to the outside." And the body that happens to be blocking it is his best friend. And he's like, "Hey, bring him over to me." I'm like, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna rip his torso off and attach his legs to his legs, or
lay the body next to me?
Lay the body next to me. So Bobby does it, and then the boyfriend starts having a conversation with the dead body, like, "I think it's time to go to sleep, man. we had a good run."
Well, you're already asleep. I'm just right behind you. Bro.
I'm right behind you, bro. So crazy. So Bobby makes it out. He makes it to the bottom of that gaping ravine where the bridge was, and he just kind of passes out. But then the monkey from earlier finds him and kind of just like drags him back to the old man's house, and we start getting some exposition, well-needed exposition at this point, where Bobby's like, "Man, everything hurts." It's like, well, that's because all of your nerves are exposed. So outside of that animation, it makes me think that he has no flesh, and it's just raw muscle and sinews, what we're seeing. Because Bobby's because at first I was like, why is Bobby super cut now? He's like real buff, right? I was like, no, that's just muscle. Bobby's not actually buff. It's just his flesh has been ripped off.
Yeah, I think the flesh makes the pigeon juice.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
Yeah, I think that's how that works.
That's how that works?
Yeah. In case you wanted to know, flesh equals pigeon juice.
For those who are writing that in their recipe book, just, you got the science now. So the old man is like, "Yeah, we found these parts just around. They're kind of dirty, but you should start feeling better when we put these on." They're just slapping on these RoboCop parts onto this kid. And they put a part on his back, and the kid literally craps like pigeon juice. I'm assuming that's what that is.
I mean, yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Because the kid just starts crapping, and it's like a outtake valve now. It's not a butt. It's like a little. I don't. What is it? It's like a little pipe.
It's like a faucet, man.
It's like a little faucet. And then when he craps, all you see is this bat from the darkness slurp out. It starts eating it. I'm like, this bat is... Someone get this bat, please.
Yeah, I have no clue
what that was about, man.
Yeah.
The little bat just snuck out a little bit and got him some juice. So the kid's like, "I feel stronger." The kids are powering up. And the doctor kind of broke it down like, "Look, this is what it's about. I used to know that weirdo up there because I used to like hang out with him because his dad was some kind of super scientist that used to work out up there, but his dad never paid attention to him. And the kid, the kid grew up and his son died or something like that in a bear accident or something like that. Something crazy.
Got super jacked up.
He got super jacked up. It was a bad day. Bad day. He ran into a grizzly. He Disco Stu should have disco ducked. And the kid gets wrecked, which is Little T. And the guy starts doing experiments on Little T to try to bring him back to life. And I guess that was the result of all this craziness we're seeing. But it doesn't really answer a lot, because why would you need to create the pigeon flesh god to anywho?
Rifle on the shelf.
So rifle on the shelf, right? So then we start going into this strange training montage. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. And the kid's training, and he has a flamethrower, and he's getting loose, man. So he's like, I'm good at. What did he say? He's like, I'm good at like arts, like at melding or something like that. The kid's like, I'm good at craftsmanship, and the kid makes himself a makeshift flamethrower, and we get this ragtag Suicide Squad of the kid, the monkey, the bat. And the cat's still alive. They found the cat, dude. Derek is a beast. That's why he's top 10 now. He has like a scar across his eye with a white eye. He has like robot parts now. Cat is awesome, dude. So the old man has galvanized his troops, and he's like, it's now or never. We're gonna storm the installation and just destroy it. I don't care what you do while you're in there, just destroy it. So they start hitting their mission. And they're climbing the mountain, and the dog is back. The dog is like just waiting at the cliff. Like, geez, he never went home. And he's like, get him, Derek. And Derek hops out of this little compartment and does a berserker barrage on the cat. And he's like, that's great, Derek. And what's so off-putting is that the kid has this Saturday morning cartoon voice where he's like, yeah, man. And it's like, and then you have like a juxtaposition of that to the cat ripping off the dog's ear. And it has this slow motion flip where the dog is being torn apart, and it's just like a sad face of the dog going. Oh, that kind of lined up. Interesting. And the cat is just ripping into this dog. Yeah, that was kind of weird. I'll take it. So there, and this is kind of goes back to when you were asking what happened to that little girl and the kid who's been there the longest. Right. Is that they go into like the cave, and these traps pop up, these spike traps, and in those spike traps is the girl and the kid who's been there the longest. They were dead.
They didn't make it out.
They didn't make it out.
Okay, yeah, I missed that part. Yeah.
Oh man, so we get to there. We actually run back into the sister, who then says, who kind of goes over her exposition, like saying, "I sacrificed my youth to help my dad with this." And the kid is like, I never had a youth. And he's like all snake. He's all snake plistened out now. I never had a youth to begin with. And she pulls out like a super robot that she made with the iPad.
Dude. She has like a Sentinel.
Yes.
She has like a Sentinel.
She legit has a Sentinel, dog.
No, you're dying, bro. I got my iPad here. I'm just going to go. And the Sentinel comes alive, and you're like, he's going to make it out.
He's not making it, dog. Like, you nailed it right on the head. She breaks out a Sentinel, dog, with her little iPad mini, and the Sentinel just hems him up, and you just see like green blood spill out of Bobby's mouth. You're like, is he going to get jacked up again? But no, what is it? It's a mixture of the monkey and the bat that bail him out, right?
Yeah, the monkey goes in, but the monkey gets kicked around as monkeys often do.
Yeah,
and so the bat comes down, and the bat freaks her out and starts pecking at her. So she drops the iPad, and the robot
he powers down.
Sentinel does.
Yeah, the Sentinel destroy mutants, and they take her out. They kill her. No, she ends up stabbing Bobby with like a metal pipe. Like, Jesus. So Bobby unleashes his super art and realizes that the cut in his hand from his friendship cut has now turned into a viscous acid port. So he sprays acid on her with his new powers, and she kind of melts and dies. And he's like, Okay, I guess
With
this is...
bat licking away for some reason.
Yeah, the bat comes back, dude, and she's dead on the ground. You see the bat slurp back out and start eating her again. I'm like, I love this bat. I want that as like a GIF. I got to figure that out. So he patches himself up Rambo style, and we get to the climax of the film, where he goes back into the giant, the mother god pigeon room, and he confronts Takeshi. I'm sorry, Lil T, and the old man, and he actually throws the pipe into the pigeon god, which spills out a bunch of like unfinished kind of bobbies. Actually,
I mean, they're like little zombies, bird children.
Yeah, man, and
Pre-cooked.
You know, that refried bean. And what the first thing they do is just go right for the doctor, which is apt. So the doctor has his hands full there. Bobby is having a final bout with Lil T. And Lil T has the upper hand. And also the girl is there, the girlfriend, so to speak. And she's kind of in the back because he's saving her. And then Bobby's strikers start coming out. You start seeing the monkey get in there. And then the bat gets in there. And even Derek gets in there, right? And they all get broke off by Lil T. They all die, I think, right? All the animals?
So.
They don't make it out, do they?
She says, "My friends, oh my friends." So they were hurt. I'm not 100% on that.
I have to remember. But we get to the part where Bobby kind of gets the upper hand on Lil T and defeats him, and then the doctor's starts a self-destruct on Lil T, and they both explode, and the whole place explodes and everything explodes, and your classic, end of laboratory scene, right? And then we kind of see Bobby and the girlfriend escape, and they're kind of walking back, and Bobby picks flowers, and then we get this voiceover where it's like, and Bobby will be self-adjusted and okay from here on out.
No, man, it's like Toxic Avenger 2. Like,
he's the Toxic Avenger.
Bobby has more adventures coming his way. He'll understand whatever comes up, and it's like, what's coming next?
So
Bobby,
this is all an origin story.
Where are the cops? Where are the freaking cops, bro?
Bobby will return in Avengers Age of Ultron.
There you go. Absolutely.
And what kills me is Bobby goes into his mom's room. He has the flowers. And A, his mom doesn't freak the hell out.
No.
B, she knows it's Bobby. You're doing it, Bobby. You're doing it. And he puts the flowers in the vase. And the last shot of the movie is just his mom's freaked out face. And it just starts rolling credits.
You're doing it.
You're doing it. Oh, I had so much weird fun with this one, man. Mm-hmm. We definitely went full kilter on this, and I think I would. I'm curious to see the other films you mentioned, Winter, in this director's repertoire to kind of see this style. Because honestly, I kind of want more of this style in my life now. After seeing this art style, this animation style, which is minimal, I will say, but it's when done the way that he's done it. It's very engrossing, and after like maybe 5-10 minutes, I was like totally immersed in the story.
So I totally want to see more. There are bits in the film that, this film, we cannot say that the film is unrated, but I think it's wise to say like probably 18 and up.
18 and up. Not for kids.
For sure.
Not for kids.
There's child death, child nudity, and all that.
Yep. Nope.
But I like the animation. I like how everything was kind of like keeping you on your toes a little bit. You don't quite know what is happening, and by the end, you kind of know what happened. There was some reviewer that was kind of there's like Cronenberg and David Lynch type stuff going on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Cronenberg. It's very Cronenberg in regards to the body horror that's going on, the eyes splitting out of the forehead and making those weird side panels. But I definitely love it, and I would recommend it to any horror fan who wants something that's a little left of center. Brian, if you Yeah.
The way I can sum this up best, and it feels like a video game. It's about a 1.5 hour long video game that you don't have to play. But once it's over, man, is there a part 2?
Yeah, I need more of this. Like I was watching this. Yeah.
So it's a decent watch. It's a great Halloween film for sure.
What are you rating it? From 0 to 5?
0 to 5, solid 4.
Sounds
Yeah,
okay.
I would have to give it a 4. I liked some of the artistic directions it was doing. Some of it actually reminded me of Team America, where they spliced in like real growth effects.
Yep.
In both of those, but
I give it a 4.5, and my 0.5 is mostly towards how bold they were with their animation choices.
Yeah.
Like like you were mentioning, Winter, the actual liquid in certain scenes, the actual pipes in certain scenes, you know, just the lighting, and not to mention the voice acting is amazing in this. The voice acting is pretty good. So that sounds like really strong recommendations from the MOTN crew for Violent Voyage.
Absolutely.
Where can we find you, Brian?
You can find me at Brian J. Wash and Wash's shop on eBay.
Sweet. Get his stuff, man. He got tons. Where can we find you, Winter?
you can find me at Trashbunk the Third, Trashbunk III on all social media, folks, and yeah.
Yeah, we're all kind of feeling pretty good. And of course, you can find us at MNerdiverse on Twitter. That is at MNerdiverse. And you can also find this podcast at mastersnerdiversecast.com. That is our website where you can listen to past reviews and be privy to upcoming content. I want to just thank you fellas for joining me on this violent voyage.
Thanks for having me. It was always a good time.
Always a good time. And I would actually like to thank everyone who's listening. And if this is your first time experiencing our podcast, I would like to be the first one to welcome you to the Nerdiverse. I've, of course, been your host, Mike G. And I will always ask you to look towards the skies. Look towards the skis.
黒金の城スーパーロボットマジンガー Z 無敵の力は僕らのために正義の心をファイター飛ばせ鉄拳ロケットパンチ今だ出すんだブレストファイヤー